Within the hallowed halls of enlightenment, a shadow dynasty of men is rewriting the very definition of sin. They are not simply monks destined for serene monasteries. They are criminal masterminds cloaked in saffron robes, titans of vice disguised as vessels of virtue. Fraudsters, predators, tycoons, these are the most corrupt Asian monks in the world. Welcome to Jet Black Luxury. 10. Luang Pu Nengkum, Thailand's jet-setting fraud. In the tenets of Theravada Buddhism, monks take a solemn vow of poverty, renouncing all personal possessions beyond a simple bowl and a few robes. But Luang Pu Nengkum, born Wirapol Sukphol, clearly considered those rules optional, while impoverished Thai villagers in his home province of Ubon Ratchathani believed their beloved leader was deep in meditation. Fasting in the remote jungle, he was actually 30,000 feet in the air, chartering private jets and living a life that would make a rock star blush. His fall from grace began in 2013 with a viral video that shattered the illusion of his piety. The footage showed Nengkum lounging in a Cessna private jet, wearing designer aviator sunglasses with a top-of-the-line Bose headset around his neck and a brand new, authentic Louis Vuitton damier graphite travel bag resting by his side, a bag with a retail price of over $2,000. For followers who could barely afford their next meal, it was a profound betrayal. This was not a man of God. This was a con artist. As Thai authorities began to dig, the jet setting was revealed to be just the tip of a gilded iceberg. They discovered Nengkum wasn't just a monk. He was a millionaire playboy who had masterfully weaponized faith for profit. He owned a fleet of at least 22 luxury cars, including multiple Mercedes-Benz models, a BMW, and a top-of-the-line Volvo, all purchased with donation money. He had dozens of secret bank accounts holding over 240 million baht, approximately 7.5 million US dollars. He was a prolific distributor of holy water, which investigators later determined was just cheap, scented perfume rebottled. And he staged elaborate fake miracles for television cameras to drive a torrent of donations from the gullible. But not all corruption glitters. Some of it festers in the soul, wrapped in robes of rage and nationalism. 9. Ashen Wirathu, the monk of hate. Not all corruption is measured in gold bars and luxury watches. Some of the most insidious corruption rots the soul and wields power as its ultimate currency. Enter Ashen Wirathu, the infamous leader of Myanmar's radical nationalist 969 movement. Dubbed the face of Buddhist terror by Time magazine, Wirathu turned the sacred, peaceful monasteries of Mandalay into high-powered propaganda machines. Instead of teaching metta, loving kindness, he weaponized scripture to incite hatred, violence, and ethnic cleansing. His sermons were calls for fire and blood, not enlightenment. He spewed venom at the Rohingya minority, painting them as foreign invaders and a threat to Buddhism. His rhetoric ignited deadly riots, razed villages, and led to the mass displacement of hundreds of thousands, a crisis the UN deemed a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. All the while, Wirathu calmly claimed he was simply protecting Buddhism. While he didn't amass personal wealth on the scale of other monks on this list, he lived in relative luxury, surrounded by fanatical devotees who worshipped him like a deity. His monastery was his fortress, protected by loyal followers and funded by a steady stream of donations from nationalists who saw him as their champion. He was chauffeured in modern vehicles, had access to the best technology, and wielded influence that reached the highest levels of the military junta. His power was his fortune. From hate to high-tech, the next monk didn't just bend the rules. He built a space-age temple empire with cash instead of karma. 8. Fraudsters, the golden UFO monk of Thailand. Fraudsters didn't just build a temple, He built a spiritual corporation, a religious Disneyland that dwarfed all others in scale and spectacle. His Dhammakaya temple on the outskirts of Bangkok is a breathtaking, almost alien sight. Its centerpiece is the Dhammakaya Kettia, a massive golden UFO-shaped dome adorned with 300,000 individual golden Buddha statues, with another 700,000 housed inside. At night, it's illuminated with stadium-style LED light shows as tens of thousands of followers, all dressed in pristine white, meditate in perfect, unnerving synchronicity. But behind this veneer of celestial harmony was a sophisticated and colossal financial web of embezzlement, money laundering, and fraud. Thai investigators accused Dhammajayo of masterminding a scheme to siphon over $33 million from a credit union cooperative and laundering billions more through the temple's donation system. The total amount of money that passed through his control is estimated by authorities to be in the hundreds of millions, funneled into a labyrinth of real estate holdings, gold bullion, and offshore accounts. At the peak of his power, Dhammajayo was more of a CEO than a monk. He traveled with a 50-man entourage, wore custom-made robes allegedly embedded with fine gold thread, and held services with VIP seating for billionaire patrons and high-ranking politicians. His temple was a machine for extracting wealth, promising followers better karma and a more prosperous rebirth in exchange for donations that were anything but voluntary. When authorities finally moved to arrest him in 2017, the temple staged a full-blown siege. Tens of thousands of brainwashed followers formed human walls around the sprawling complex, blocking police and military forces for weeks in a dramatic standoff broadcast around the world. Dhammajayo, however, was nowhere to be found. He had vanished. To this day, he remains a fugitive. Some say he is dead. Others whisper that he escaped and is living in a secret custom-built underground monastery, still pulling the strings of his multi-billion-dollar empire. Either way, his temple, his monument to greed, is still thriving. And if a gold-plated dome wasn't outrageous enough, wait until you meet the man who claimed to be Buddha, Jesus, and Freddie Mercury all at once. Hit that subscribe button now. We'll launder your karma for you later. 7. Guru Ryuho Okawa. Japan's billionaire messiah. Technically, Ryuho Okawa was not a traditional Buddhist monk, but he masterfully co-opted the robes, the rhetoric, and the reverence to build one of the most bizarre and financially successful cults in modern history. The founder of Happy Science, Okawa claimed he wasn't just enlightened. He was the reincarnation of Buddha, Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Confucius, and Isaac Newton, all rolled into one. He also claimed to be able to channel the spirits of anyone, from Margaret Thatcher to Steve Jobs to Donald Trump and even Freddie Mercury. He transformed these outlandish claims into a religious empire in Japan, valued at well over $1 billion. Happy Science wasn't just a temple, it was a vertically integrated corporation with its own political party, the Happiness Realization Party, a movie studio producing glossy anime propaganda films, and a spiritual consulting business that charged followers exorbitant fees. A single spiritual checkup could cost $1,000. The temple sold miracle stones for upwards of $5,000 and even offered passports to heaven for a hefty price. Despite being widely labeled a dangerous cult, Happy Science attracted influential members and amassed a vast fortune that afforded its leader a life of unimaginable luxury. After his death, the organization solidified its model of spiritual capitalism by claiming he had simply ascended to a higher plane, proving that if the claims are grand enough, people will pay for the divine illusion. But even far from the neon temples and billion-dollar cults, corruption took a quieter, more personal form, hidden behind chants, incense, and trust. 6. Lama Norla Rinpoche, the secret sins of a Tibetan master. You expect corruption in megachurches and political parties, but the serene, contemplative world of Tibetan Buddhism, especially in the tranquil setting of the West, is supposed to be different. Lama Norlha Rinpoche was a revered Tibetan Buddhist teacher, a master of the Kagyu lineage who founded the Kagyu Thubten Choling Monastery in the idyllic hills of upstate New York. Thousands of followers from across the United States and Europe saw him as a living embodiment of compassion and wisdom. But in 2018, that carefully crafted image of serenity was shattered. A group of his former female students came forward with devastating allegations of long-term intimate and psychological abuse. According to their reports, Norlha used his immense spiritual authority, his status as their guru, to systematically coerce women into secret, intimate relationships. He preyed on their vulnerability, their devotion, and their faith, promising them that sleeping with him was a special form of karma purification or a secret tantric practice that would accelerate their path to enlightenment. It was a grotesque abuse of the sacred student-teacher relationship. When the news broke, it sent shockwaves through the American Buddhist community, devastating the very people who had dedicated their lives and fortunes to his teachings and his monastery. This wasn't corruption for money, but for the gratification of ego and lust, a violation far more personal and scarring. Norlha quietly stepped down from his position, but the damage was done. His decades-long abuse left deep scars that no amount of meditation or chanting could ever heal. Painful testament to the fact that even in the most hallowed of halls, power can corrupt absolutely. Next, let's talk about the monk who preached poverty while secretly hoarding a dragon's nest of gold in the jungle. 5. Ajahn Mahabua, the forest monk's golden hoard. Ajahn Mahabua was, for decades, considered one of the most respected monks in Thailand, a true master of the Thai forest tradition. He was hailed as an arahant, a fully enlightened being, and a national treasure who represented the purest form of asceticism. His followers believed he had completely renounced the material world. They were wrong. During the 1997 Asian financial crisis, Mahabua launched a high-profile Donations for the Nation campaign, calling on Thais to donate cash and gold to help bolster the country's struggling economy. The campaign was a massive success, tapping into a deep well of nationalistic and religious fervor. But as the donations poured in, controversy erupted. It was revealed that Mahabua had amassed an astonishing hoard of wealth within his forest monastery. At the time of his death, the temple was in possession of over 11 tons of solid gold bullion, worth over $800 million at today's prices, and billions of bought-in cash. From hidden gold to high-rise deals, the next figure didn't need miracles, he just needed zoning permits. 4. Master Xing Yun, the silent real estate tycoon. Master Xing Yun, who passed away in 2023, was a global religious icon. As the founder of Taiwan's Fo Guangshan Buddhist order, he presided over a worldwide empire with satellite temples in over 173 countries. His official teachings emphasized humanistic Buddhism, focusing on compassion, education, and charity. He was a master of soft power, nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize and celebrated by world leaders. However, critics and journalists portray the Fo Guangshan Empire as a worldly enterprise, one of the largest religious landowners on the planet, with a real estate portfolio worth billions. Despite claims that its properties are for religious and educational purposes, insiders report many function more like a tax-exempt real estate investment trust, either sitting vacant or quietly rented out to high-paying corporate tenants. The lifestyle of those high up in the order starkly contrasted with their vows of simplicity. Senior monks under his order were frequently seen driving Teslas, flying first class on international trips, and staying in five-star hotels. all while the organization continued to solicit donations from low-income and working-class followers. Xing Yun perfected a modern form of corporate corruption, building a tax-free, multi-billion-dollar international real estate empire under the sanctified guise of spreading the Dharma. And now, a story so brazen it sounds like fiction. A monk caught smuggling bricks of gold under his robes at the airport. 3. Abbot Fraudsters Sithiwat, the monk who smuggled gold bars. Sometimes the corruption isn't sophisticated, it's just brazen criminal greed. The case of Fraudsters Sithiwat, the abbot of Wat Suan Dok in Chiang Mai, became infamous in 2018 when he was arrested at Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi Airport in a scene straight out of a crime movie. As he attempted to board a flight, customs officials noticed his strange, bulky appearance. A search revealed the source of the bulge. He had an astonishing $600,000 worth of solid gold bars and stacks of foreign currency strapped to his body under his robes. Authorities quickly unraveled the story. The abbot was not a holy man on a pilgrimage. He was a mule. He was a key figure in a sophisticated international smuggling ring that was using the temple as a front to launder money. The ring moved millions of dollars annually through illegal cross-border operations, exploiting the reverence and minimal scrutiny afforded to high-ranking monks. The scandal exposed the temple as little more than a laundromat for organized crime. Despite the overwhelming evidence and his public arrest, many of his followers refused to believe it. Some even praised him, claiming he was blessed for being able to attract so much wealth to the temple, no matter the source. It was a disturbing glimpse into a mindset where financial success, even through blatant crime, is seen as a sign of advanced karma, and where a saffron robe can be the perfect cover for a common criminal. But no tale of twisted faith reaches the darkness of the man who turned enlightenment into apocalypse. 2. Shoko Asahara, the doomsday monk of death. Shoko Asahara was the charismatic and psychopathic mastermind behind Aum Shinrikyo, a Japanese doomsday cult disguised as a yoga movement. He orchestrated the deadly 1995 Tokyo subway attack, where followers released sarin nerve gas during rush hour. The attack killed 13 people, injured over 5,000, and shattered Japan's illusion of public safety forever. Asahara, born Chizuo Matsumoto, claimed to be the reincarnation of both Jesus Christ and the first enlightened one since Buddha. He convinced thousands of followers, many of them brilliant scientists and engineers from Japan's top universities, that a nuclear apocalypse was imminent and that only he could save them. Meanwhile, he lived a life of grotesque luxury within his communes, eating gourmet meals prepared by a personal chef and maintaining a harem of female followers, all while his disciples endured brutal ascetic practices. When Japanese police raided the cult's compounds after the attack, they discovered a horror show.
Deemed the worst act of domestic terrorism in Japan's modern history.
They found chemical labs capable of producing enough sarin to kill millions, weapons caches, and millions of dollars in hidden funds and gold. Asahara's corruption was not just for wealth or power, but for the thrill of destruction and control. He was executed by hanging in 2018, but his cult, disturbingly, still exists today under a new name, a chilling reminder of how the promise of enlightenment can be twisted into a license for mass elimination. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, we arrive at the final chapter, where monks aren't just corrupt, they're cartel kings. 1. The cartel monks of the Golden Triangle. In the lawless border regions of Southeast Asia, particularly where Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand meet, a new and dangerous form of corruption has taken root. Investigations have revealed some Buddhist monks are operating like cartel bosses, engaging in organized crimes such as human trafficking and illegal logging with protection from corrupt officials. For instance, monks in Cambodia were caught after illegally clearing 500 hectares of a protected national forest. Instead of a monastery,
The general's wily aide, here explaining their arsenal, is Kunsar's go-between with the Thai military.
They were building a multi-million-dollar luxury retreat with private villas and swimming pools. These New Age criminal monks have abandoned any pretense of asceticism. They carry the latest iPhones, drive luxury SUVs like the G-Wagon, and have been seen using high-tech drones to patrol the vast tracts of land they have illegally seized. They wield immense local power, intimidating villagers into silence and using their sacred status as a shield against investigation. This is the final brutal evolution of spiritual corruption, where the saffron robe becomes the uniform of an organized crime syndicate. If this shocked you, wait until you see the power moves Asia's top female athletes are making behind the scene. And remember, subscribe before your favorite guru buys his next private jet. Now get ready to meet the 10 most powerful female Asian athletes dominating the world stage.